I'm going to talk now about how to mix your acrylic paint for your color swatches. So if I'm doing my first one, which is blue, I will just need a little bit of blue in my paint palette. You don't need a lot because you're only painting a little area. So just a little bit will work for this. So if I'm doing the blue one, I'm going to need 4 colors. I'm going to need blue and white. Just make sure you wash your paintbrushes off in between colors, which is what I'm doing right now. We need white. Okay, you don't need too much. Orange, which is the complement of blue. And the last color is black. You don't need too much of that at all. So I'm just going to start by mixing all of my colors first so that when I am done mixing, I can just paint away. So I'm first going to mix the tint. So when you mix a tint, you want to start with the color and add white. Actually, that's backwards. You want to start with the white and add the color that you're going to use. Because it will take forever to get the color that you want if you start with the pure hue. So we'll start with white. I'm going to move a little bit of white up here. And then add a little bit of blue to it. And I'm just going to swirl those together and keep mixing them and swirling them together until it's all blended well together. You don't want any streaks in it at all. So there is the tint. And next I'm going to mix the shade. And for a shade, you're going to start with your hue, which for mine is blue. Put a little here. And you're going to add black, because if you start with black, it's going to take forever to get a shade of blue. And you only need a tiny, tiny bit. So much like just tiny bit. Like, look how little amount that is. And I'm going to add that to the blue and swirl, 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 mix, mix, mix until it's all blended well together. So there is my shade, and you can adjust these as you go. So say that's not dark enough, you can always, darken it up a little bit more by adding a little bit more black. So adjustment might need to happen. So next, I'm going to do the lowered intensity, and I'm doing lowered intensity of blue. So I need to start with blue. I'm going to actually put this in the well for this one. So there's the blue. And I'm going to add just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of orange to start out with, because again, I might need to adjust. So just a little bit of orange and add that to the blue. And swirl it, swirl it all together until it's well mixed. So when you're making your lowered intensity, it might look really close to your shade. And so if it is, you're going to darken your shade up a little bit. Also, the lowered intensity should be the color that you're working with. It should not be the opposite. So this color, if I'm doing blue, should not look orange. It still needs to look blue, just a duller blue. So it should not look like orange. If you have your lowered intensity the opposite color, that is incorrect. So you might get points taken away for that part because that is not correct at all. So that is how you mix your acrylic paint for your swatches.